Greetings, everybody. Just making sure we're recording. Sorry. Okay, so let's get into it. Now that you have your Linux distribution up, using Ubuntu, but as far as the command line goes, it kind of doesn't really matter what distribution you have. Most important thing is that you understand the commands. So if you've ever worked with a Unix command lines, basically the same thing. So the easy way to bring up the terminal, which is where you're going to be typing in your commands, it's called the terminal. This is a terminal emulator, and press Control Alt and T, and it'll bring up a terminal. I would also suggest that when you do bring your terminal up, you lock it to your launcher. So lock to launcher. Okay, there we go. All right. So when you start, your terminal will not look like this. I modified mine. So you can go to File, New Profile, and you can make whatever type of settings you want. You can customize the way that your terminal looks. So I like mine transparent, and I like the light green and the black. But you could essentially make it look however you want. Alright, so let's get into it. I'm gonna have the terminal cover the full screen. So let's get right into it. What you see here, where it says run, that is your user, and then @Baker. So Baker is the host. It's the host machine. So you see email addresses like this. It's user @host. That's the explanation for what this is. And this $ here and the tilde, well, essentially the tilde right here is your home directory, and this $ represents your variable. So when you see it in the $, you're in your home user directory. If you see a £, that means that you are root. Now with this distribution, you're not root by default. So let's just see what directory we're in right now, and a directory is a folder. Everything in Linux is a file or a directory. Everything constructs its way into a file tree. So pwd, print working directory, will tell you what directory we're in. Home. We're in our home directory, home/username. Username is Ron. So let's get into navigation. Very simple navigation. Press ls. ls is going to list the contents of your current directory. So this is going to list the contents in home Ron. So there we go. I got a few different things in my home directory. We got downloads directory, desktop, and the way that we have our command line set up is that directories will show up in this light blue. Now if we want to see more options, we're going to put a -L option. So the command is ls, which stands for list, and then you press -L, and it's going to give you a longer listing. So that's where you're going to get all this information here. As you can see here, I'll explain what these 10 or so entries here on this side here represent later. But essentially when you put ls, you get more information. And as you can see here, our directories are in a different color, blue. So let's say I want to change my directory into the documents or the downloads. So I'm going to put CD, this is change directory, and you got to make sure everything is cap specific, it's cap sensitive, and you got to spell everything right. So I'm going to put downloads, and now we're in the downloads folder or directory. We put ls, and we can see what's in the downloads now. I have this picture. That's all I have in my download so far. Now we get even more information by adding the -L option. ls -L. And now we get more detailed information about it. We can even go further. We can add another option. That's what you usually deduce with this minus. So depending on the command, it usually follows command, option, argument. In this case, the command is ls. The option will put L and A. And when you put a -A, that shows hidden folders. And then here we go. So we see that there's this here. Now we can change back to our home directory simply by pressing CD. And now we're back home. Now, by default, this brings you back to your home directory, but that's not actually, the entirety of, or really the beginning of where this all starts. So you can go back to a parent directory by pressing CD and then putting 2 dots. And now we're in the home directory. And let's see what's in the home directory. Our user. We can even go one further by doing it again. And now you see that slash? That is your root directory. So let's see what's in the root directory, ls. Here we have essentially our entire file system tree right here. We have binaries in bin, CD-ROM, etc. We have everything here. This is what constitutes your entire system here. So we can go one further and we can get even more information, -L. So now this gives us a more detailed list of our root directory. Basically, this is everything in the computer. So let's just for fun see what's in our boot directory. Here in the boot directory, we have our actual kernel, and the kernel is essentially the middleman between the hardware and the applications. It's probably the most important aspect of Linux and is really technically the only thing in Linux is the kernel. Now we have the GUI or the X window system here, and that's more or less an illusion and not exactly what makes Linux Linux. What makes Linux Linux is the kernel, and through this kernel we have our command line, which for the most part is universal with every single distribution. The ls command, the cd command, these are all universal in Linux and Unix. So it's very important that you understand all of these commands. So now let's change back to home directory, and let's make a file. To make a file, alright, and let's make sure we're in the home directory, in pwd home directory. You put touch and then the name of the file. We'll make a text file. We'll call it text .txt. Okay, now you should see that show up. Oh, my bad, I didn't put it in the desktop. Okay, so to see how it shows up on the desktop, this will make another file and we'll put it on the desktop. So first, change the directory to desktop. Okay, now we'll make this called text2.txt. There we go. And as you can see, it made the text file right here. So that's the real working time that our command line does affect everything. The command line is the most powerful tool that you have. Now, there's nothing in this text file. Let's open it. Nothing in it at all. But that is how you make a file. So let's go back to our home directory, and just to show you about the fullest option that you can put, it would be L. L stands for long, capital F. It's going to show you everything, full listing, and then the A is going to show all the hidden ones. So when you type this, this should show you every single thing. This option right here, L, capital F, A. So now this shows us everything we need to know about this directory here, of our home directory. Everything here, anything that has a dot next to it is hidden. It's either a hidden directory or a hidden file. And like I said before, the stuff and the notation that we have in it now, we have it so that it's colorized for each different thing. So our files and our directories are in different colors. What we have here in the blue is directories. And just a quick hint here, the first parameter, if it's a D, right here, if it's a D, it's a directory. So you know what, let me just go into really quickly what all of this stuff means right now. I'll go over it again, but we'll just go over it real quickly. So this is our permissions, and also will tell us what type of file or directory it is with these options here. These are permissions. This is the amount of hard links right here that the file or directory has. This is the user of the file, the owner of it. These are the group. This is the group that it belongs to. And with a lot of these things, you'll see that the user and the group are named the same thing. They have the same ID. This is the size of the file in bytes. And this is the last time that it's been used. And of course, this is the name of the file here. So, or the directory. These are the names. So these are all the names. Okay. Now if I want this all to disappear, I put in clear. And it's all gone. So just to review, and if you ever want to look back on any commands, the last 500 commands that have been done on the machine will be registered. So I got clear, and all of our commands that we put in, it's all here. So just a reminder, pwd, print the working directory, cd changes it, since cd will, if you put cd with no options, it will always bring you back to your home directory. So if we want to go directly to our root, it is 2 directories above. So it's, I guess you could say it's the grandparent directory of our home directory. So to go back, you know, more than just one directory, you do as many as you want. So // will bring you back 2 directories. So when we do that, it's going to bring us to our root. Whenever you see The slash by itself, you are a root. That is your root directory. That is the beginning of your entire file tree. And when you have access to the root user, you can do anything on the system. And by default, you cannot access the root on Ubuntu. You do a thing called sudo, sudo. And we'll go into that in the next video. But for now, simple navigation, you just need to know ls. And the options that you can put it. You can put -L or -A or F. And you can combine all the options together. That's the beauty of Linux, is you can combine all of your options together and make a powerful command. You can make very great use of this command line. So once again, this will show everything. This -L, A, and capital F. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed the video, and signing off. Subscribe. I don't have any donations or GoFundMe up yet, but when that does come up, please subscribe, please donate, everything. Please support. I'm here for the community, I'm here to help. Thank you.